This is Renita with Be Your Own Kind, where there's never an inopportune time to be you. So, yes, it is different. This is not a Friday, and I'm on because why not? I thought I'd do a couple of 2 cent segments throughout the week randomly when I see something to talk about. So, I did find something to talk about that I thought was really, really interesting. But before we get into that, we got to start with the commercial, right? All right. So I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you are on YouTube or you're watching this later, please subscribe and hit the notification button. Thank you. So today I wanted to talk about our apologies. Are there expiration dates on apologies? Like we say, if the person would only give me an apology, I'll let it go. But when the apology has extended like a long period of time, and maybe you've forgotten about it or you just moved past it, and that whole accepting an apology you're never going to get, and then that person has an epiphany and they're like, you know what, I'm sorry what happened for 20 years. Like, do you really exchange that, it is what it is situation to just say, you know what, I do forgive you, maybe not start a new relationship with them and maybe not implement them back in your life, but to just fully let it go, more so like closure. So how I even got to this subject, is probably obvious with the Justin Timberlake, because that's my title, with Justin Timberlake, and how he did some crazy things in the past with Brittany Spears and Janet Jackson, and he just didn't take accountability for any of that. He blamed it on privilege and not paying attention and this and that. But I think that he used those things just to jumpstart his career. And maybe he's realizing now that maybe that was not the right way to go, but his career was already catapulted. So it's kind of what's done is done. But at the end of the day, the fact that he is apologizing, a lot of people are like, a little too late, Justin. But really, Brittany hasn't said anything, and Janet, we'll get into that later, didn't really address it. So it's just kind of people have moved on. Thanks for your apology, but, are you only just getting into, apologizing because it was brought to your attention? Because people were starting to rag on him because of the newly released Britney Spears documentary, and it's like, oh, you did her so wrong, and and so people are looking at this, and and now he's having a change of heart or whatever, okay, well, maybe I was wrong, and it's just kind of you knew you were wrong when you did it. However, the fact that you're acknowledging it, does that make it better? So that's my whole conversation now. Are there expiration dates on apologies? So I want to get into the story a little bit, and maybe we can get a little back story, just because I realized I knew what happened between him and Janet Jackson, but the story that I heard between Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake was the fact that she cheated on him and they broke up or whatever. But I never really knew anything past that because he was in sync, and I was like, this is Justin. And all his albums, Justify, Future Sex Love, and the one after that, which I can't think of, they were so dope. He's also been accused of appropriation, but that is not the topic tonight. So anyway, let's get started. So the first thing here is just what happened. And I found this video here that is talking about how Justin benefited from throwing Brittany and Janet under the bus. So I really wanted to know what was going on, so that's why I found this video. So let's get into it. Probably let's take it off mute.
I've been on Noom for...
So I'm going to see if we can skim through it and just get a little idea of what happened, because that's what I want to know. I'm going to drink me some water if I can find it. And this is just chill, BYOK After Dark. Yep.
With his boyish good looks and undeniable vocal talent, he became a teen heartthrob.
He was my heartthrob.
Before he became a teen heartthrob, he was a child star on Disney Channel's Mickey Mouse Club. a show that was the effective beginning for a lot of upcoming stars during that time period, including Ryan Gosling, Christina Aguilera,
I didn't know
and Miss
Ryan
Britney
Gosling was on
Spears.
there.
Brittany and Justin would later enter a relationship,
Okay, we know this
which
part.
even resulted in a first kiss. After the show ended, Brittany and Justin would soon brush shoulders again as they got older. Brittany thought about joining a band called Innocence that was being put together by Justin Timberlake's mom, but Brittany eventually decided against the decision to join a girl group, opting for a solo career. Fast forward to 1998. Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake are two of the most popular singers in the world in their own right. Justin Timberlake, which is the essential 90s pop
I love Britney. I don't need to know
and the picture-perfect match made in heaven. America's teen pop goddess with one of America's teen pop kings.
And this video is on Honest, the YouTube channel Honest.
The media was completely obsessed with them. They even had nicknames for each other, Stinky and Pinky. They let their love be known and seemed to be genuinely happy with each other. Britney is quoted saying, "When people get too personal, it bothers me, but I'm not ashamed at all to say that I love him from the bottom of my heart. As far as love is concerned with him, too much is not enough. He's everything."
So she was in love with him.
You genuinely love someone when you wear matching outfits, but especially when that matching outfit is complete denim. Eccentric, but make for a great...
Okay, get to the point. Noom is actually not bad to use, by the way.
I've been on Noom for 4 months. I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like I got
4 months?
I've been on Noom for...
I probably need to follow
It was
him
alleged
a
that
little
Britney
bit
had
better.
cheated on Justin with Wade Robson. Britney Spears and Justin would both exchange songs about their breakup.
Okay,
but
so
Justin
she did cheat on him.
in particular played up his man done wrong narrative to promote his debut record. Justin Timberlake's first solo single, Like I Love You, failed to make any true lasting impact.
I remember that song.
Many would say his true debut as an artist is Cry Me a River, an R&B jam that would become one of his signature hits. The song is a classic and he, Timberlake, could tell I was visibly angry. Timberlake, the producer of the song, states, "I was like, man, don't worry about it." And he was like, "I can't believe she did that to me." And he was like, "You were my sun, you were my earth." It had become inevitably clear that the song was about Britney, seeing that the music video featured a look-alike that portrayed her as a cheater.
Okay, so
Justin
far, what did he do?
Quoted saying, "The breakup was absolutely heartbreaking for me. I can't just have meaningless relationships with women. I have to find Miss Ruff," he says, and then just proceeds to insinuate that she cheated on him. "We're not perfect," he said. "I don't judge anybody. It's just young love. It's just young love." It was a very intense relationship, that's for sure. He then is asked to play a song from his album Justified, and instead plays a song that didn't make the cut called Horrible Woman, which is obviously a song about Britney woman. In Britney's Diane Sawyer interview, she was faithful to her commitment to Justin and didn't tell anyone what happened between them. "I think everyone has a side of their story to make them feel a certain way," Britney said. "I'm not technically saying he's wrong, but I'm not technically saying he's right either."
This is
she
so
would eventually allow her
ambiguous.
single and video every time to speak for itself. It is the best ballad of her career,
I love
which
that
is a
song.
heartbreak song about wanting to move on from a broken relationship, but it being difficult to do so. It features a stunning video in which Britney is embroiled in an intense relationship and is being hounded by paparazzi, and she even passes away in a bathtub. It is a beautiful song and video.
Oh my God.
Around this time,
people
became oddly obsessed with Britney Spears' virginity, and she admitted to losing it to Justin Timberlake. And she was slut-shamed for initially saying that she was going to try to wait to lose her virginity until marriage, which is idiotic. She was a young woman, and if she chose to change her mind about her virginity, that is her choice. Meanwhile, Justin Timberlake was going around in interviews bragging about taking her virginity and even bragging about having oral sex with her.
Oh my God.
Britney said in her Diane Sawyer interview that she felt very exploited and weird after he went on shows and interviews revealing what they did in the bedroom. And still somehow, she remained the villain in this narrative.
Oh, that
even after he
sucks.
essentially went on a press campaign being absolutely reckless. The drama and sympathy campaign would eventually pay off, and Justified became a global smash.
Oh my
In 2005, Britney
God.
Spears would
Okay, so basically, he took her virginity and exploited their relationship and catapulted his career. That's crazy. And yeah, he had to know that was wrong. Like, it didn't take 20 years or so to realize that that was crap. Anything else? I don't know.
Infamously coined his album title as Pussyfied instead of Justified. But no, the success and usage of Brittany during Justified wasn't enough. In 2006, 4 years after their breakup, when they both had different partners, he once again decided to play up his narrative. I'm assuming since it worked so well the first time, he decided to do it again. In an interview with GQ, Justin said, I felt like she had a couple of opportunities to just sort of stick up for me, and she didn't, which is fine. But at that time, I fought back. And that's the way I fought back. I used my mind, I came up with the song.
Why was she...
Meanwhile, he was the one dogging her.
But why would she stick up for him when he's dogging her, like what he's about to say?
Out in the press and wasn't there for her when she was getting backlash. And this same narrative would coincide with another major controversy he would be involved in around this time. In 2006, he would release a sequel to Cry Me a River titled What Goes Around Comes Around.
I like that song.
Another jab at Brittany years later, while he was promoting his second album, Future Sex Love Sounds.
That was a dope album. It makes me want to listen to the album, I'm not going to lie. This defeats the whole purpose, though, don't it?
Where Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson's nipple. Janet was blackballed and her career never quite recovered. She sure was. Meanwhile, Justin was thriving, achieving hit after hit, and winning one award after another.
Yeah, so he used them. It
been an accident from both parties. However, he is the person that exposed her nipple, so he could have been there for her more and actually defended her.
Okay, so basically, Justin was like, "Look, I'm going to just exploit these two, and I'm just going to move on with life." And he just thought about himself. So that is why everybody is like, "Well, why are you apologizing now?" Because what you did, you had to be cognizant that that was wrong, but you didn't care because you were so concerned with growing your career. So now that you're not, I guess, the it person now, you're apologizing on the fact that everybody's, staining your name. Now you want to say you're sorry. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of with everybody. Like, you knew you were wrong for saying that you took Brittany's virginity, and you knew you were wrong for not standing up for Janet. So now I can see why everybody was like super mad. And it goes back to that, is there an expiration on an apology when you blatantly do something? But I always feel like we evolve. Like, he's not the same person he was years ago that he is now. So I can't see how he can, come to Jesus moment and be like, okay, I was bogus, I was selfish, and I'm sorry. And the public can be so rude, especially when things that happen to them. But I kind of feel like everybody's like a little too late, because you knew what you were doing. Definitely knew what you were doing with Brittany. Definitely knew what you were doing with Janet. So it's just kind of like, cry me a river. At this point, that's kind of like what it is. So I found another video. It was an interview. I believe that Janet Jackson have an Oprah Winfrey. So I thought I wanted to get into that too. So let me get into that. Here it is. Yeah, it's so hard when it's on mute.
Performance made news around the world.
Let's start it over.
It's been now almost 2 years since Janet's Super Bowl halftime performance made news around the world.
She is so beautiful.
The FCC received more than 500,000 complaints about that broadcast.
Dang.
CBS was fined $550,000. And then the NFL was asked to refund the $10 million that they had been given to the halftime show sponsor. So Janet says that this is going to be the first and the last time that she ever talks about what happened that day. First of all, I have to ask you, was it planned, Janet?
No.
It was not planned.
Well, what people don't understand is he was to take and rip the piece off that he did.
The leather piece.
Right, but more came off than what was supposed to.
Okay.
So he was supposed to pull that off, and we just see the red there. And he ripped the whole thing.
Yes.
So he had you practiced or whatever before?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's crazy.
So the moment that happened, you immediately covered your breast because you didn't want to be exposed. If you wanted to be exposed, you wouldn't have covered it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Very embarrassing moment.
It was a very embarrassing moment.
Yes.
Well, 24
now,
hours
we know
after
Janet wasn't up to that. She's too classy for that.
And I had read in another magazine that you regret making that apology. Is that true? Why?
It was an accident. And management that I had at the time, they thought it was important that I did, with the project coming out. And I had said, actually, before I sat down to record the apology, that I had said to them,
what are you apologizing for?
Why am I apologizing for an accident? apologize.
Well, you did say in the apology, you apologize for anybody who might have been offended.
Right, and they wanted me to say that.
Well, let us say it, Oprah.
They thought it was best that I do, so I did.
Do you think in any way that Justin Timberlake left you hanging out there?
Yeah, he did.
I'm speaking to Miss Jackson. Do you?
Well, all the emphasis was put on me, not on Justin.
And it's 2006, y'all.
Justin, we were friends, and not that we aren't now. We haven't spoken, but I consider him a friend, and I'm very loyal, and friendship is very important to me.
Well, Justin Timberlake recently talked about the incident. Did you know that?
I heard.
Okay, on MTV, and this is some of what he said. He said, if you consider it 50-50, meaning I think that both of you were up there on the stage doing this, then I probably got 10% of the blame. I think America is harsher on women, he said, and I think America is unfairly harsh on ethnic people. So that's what he said. Do you think?
But is that an apology, though? Is that accepting accountability,
Do you think people
though?
were too hard on you?
I think they were. I think they did put all the emphasis on me, and as opposed to us. And I have to say, just to let people know that Justin has reached out to we haven't spoken, but has reached out to me. And like I said, friendship is very important to me, and certain things you just don't do to friends. And,
Right.
In my own time, I'll give him a
So you
call.
say certain things you just don't do to friends. You think him ripping the whole thing off? Is that what you're
No,
talking about?
no. When you had said certain things were said supposedly, or that he had said during that whole fiasco, I had heard, and kind of leaving you out there hanging.
So you do feel that he left you hanging?
To a certain degree, yeah.
Okay.
See,
Hi,
she was being
YouTubers.
real nice
I'm
about
excited.
it. Okay, Oprah, that's enough of that. I kind of feel like he did leave her out to dry. Like, I remember that time when that happened, he left her out to dry. But why is that? Why is that two people were involved in the situation and a woman got the brunt of that? Like, why is that? Why are women judged more harshly than men, especially when it comes to sexual things? And everybody knows her past. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody knows Janet Jackson's, what am I trying to say? They know her aura, they know her brand, and they knew that she wouldn't go on Super Bowl and purposely expose herself. Like, they just knew, know that Janet Jackson, she's a Jackson. Like, why would she do that? So I just kind of feel like it just didn't seem right. And everybody's like, well, Janet did, and it's kind of like he got away with that. And I always feel like men get away with that more so than women, like, for real. Like, a man can sleep with like 1 million people, and you sleep with the woman, sleep with 2 people, and now she's a harlot. She should have waited for marriage. Like, why is that? And that's why I think everybody was mad for Justin, because he didn't take up for women. He just exposed Brittany, talked about sexual acts, and just was like, whatever, moving on with life. And then with Janet, he's like, yeah, the ethnic people really got it bad. But there was no apology in that. Like, there was no, I probably ripped it off more than I should have. And yes, he's apologizing now, but I feel like at that moment, he had to know that was wrong. Like, especially because Brittany was like his first love, and Jenna was like his friend. So he didn't care about loyalty back then. All he cared about was himself. And now that you have made this name for yourself, now you come back and be like, oh, my bad. But meanwhile, Brittany is going through what she's going through, and what she went through, beginning with him, he started it. So she just played up to that sex puppet part. I think that's what kind of catapulted Brittany to be that little sex kitten in Rolling on the Floor with Snakes. That was a cold song, though. And then Janet Jackson got blackballed. She was supposed to play Lena Horne, and that kind of just like ruined her career for real, and she's been climbing her way up ever since then. And this is a legend. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why everybody was like, take your apology and stuff it. So what do you guys think about that? Like, So this is what happened this year, because I just wanted to go back to see what happened. So apparently Jessica Biel is his wife, so she responded to him. But this is what Justin had to say about what happened years ago. He says, "I've seen the messages, tags, comments, and concerns, and I want to respond. I am deeply sorry for the times in my life where my actions contributed to the problem, where I spoke out of turn or did not speak up for what was right. I understand that I fell short in these moments and in many others, and benefited from a system that condones misogyny and racism. I specifically want to apologize to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson both individually because I care and respect these women, and I know I failed. I also feel compelled to respond in part because everyone involved deserves better, and most importantly because this is a larger conversation that I wholeheartedly want to be a part of and grow from." Now, everyone's like later on is saying the industry is flawed. It sets men, especially white men, up for success. That is what everyone is saying. But my whole thing is, these were your friends. This was your first love, and these were your friends. So I understand he wants to make this a global thing, but it was personal. These were two people that he had a relationship with. This wasn't just a business relationship. These were personal relationships. So although he did, and then his wife said, "I love you," but these were personal relationships. So that's what goes back to, is there an expiration on an apology? Like, I know that you were self-serving, and I know that you didn't really care about anyone else but yourself, but now you've had this come to Jesus moment, and I'm just supposed to just be like, okay, well, let's talk about the bigger problem. No, you were the problem. This wasn't a global thing. This was a personal thing. I dated you, or I was your friend. It was personal, and Janet wasn't even answering the phone for him, so back then. So I don't even know if she said anything regarding now. So this is her latest video after Justin had issued the apology. So let's get into it. What you got to say, Jackson? Play.
I was at home just the other day by myself, and I began to cry. I was crying because I was so thankful for all that God has blessed me with, all that he has given me. And I'm so thankful for him being in my life. And I'm so thankful for all of you being in my life. You're so special to me. And I want to thank all of you for making control number one. Once again, after 35 years, I never in a million years, I would never think that this would happen. I really appreciate you, and I love you so, so much. Thank you. Bye.
So she didn't even address it. So maybe when you have let go of something and you're over it, you don't want to take yourself back down that path, so you just don't address it at all. That's what it looks like. So maybe it's not, it's like, okay, a little too late. You're sorry. Okay, I get it. However, I've moved on. And did that apology help exonerate Janet a little bit? I would think so. Brittany is more damage that's been done to her besides, with him. She's got things going on with her dad, and Kevin, I think her ex-husband was like, it just compounded a lot for Brittany. Janet, I feel like she survived it a little bit more, and she pushed past it. She kept releasing music, she kept releasing videos and things of that sort. So, she worked her way through it. So, I think the expiration on an apology is up to the person, that they're apologizing to. I've known people that have come to me years later and was like, I apologize. And you know what? The thing is, I've accepted apology before I got it, like I said earlier. So there are times when someone does you wrong and, they're just so in there, they're not convicted at all. They just believe what they believe and they don't think they're sorry. And then you just have to work it out within yourself. So when they come back later and they have a come to Jesus moment and they're like, I'm so sorry, you've already forgiven them. So it's not even, it's not even I guess, a point of an expiration. It's the point of you letting it go, of an exoneration. You're freeing yourself from somebody who blatantly did you wrong. So when they come back and they realize it, great, that's freedom for you that you realize it. But I had already freed myself when you did that because I had to move forward. So I think that is the situation with him and Janet. I don't really know with Brittany, but I know that that is definitely the situation with Janet. So let me know your thoughts about that. I thought this was a pretty neat subject to talk about because I'm sure we all have had that somebody just popped out of the blue and said they were sorry for stuff that happened years ago, and you're just kind of like, oh, that happened, oh, because you don't care anymore, like you let it go. So anyway, I'm just gonna play one more commercial and then we're just gonna get out of here. All right, so just go to MissMeechie.com, www.mzmetchi.com, and you will find her sunglasses there, 25% off. Don't forget to check her out. So this was fun to have a 2 cent moment. Like I said, I'm just going to randomly have these lives, get to just talk about some things that I see that's happening throughout the week. And if you don't catch me now, you can catch me later because it's recorded. So until next time, don't forget to be your own kind, be kind to yourself and kind to each other. Bye.